companies that stand behind us, the accolades that we have, the reviews we have. Like, it's important that whenever someone's looking to hire anyone in any business, that they're not just going with the cheapest.
Right.
Like, that they're looking at, hey, this company exists and continues to exist. And despite the fact that they might be a little bit more expensive, I'm not going to have a problem once I start this project.
Welcome back to the Lead Lamp Podcast. This week we have Chad Hopple from Shire Decks and Dillsburg Building Supply, famously in Dillsburg. But no, thanks for coming on. I know you know our team just from events in the area. We see it like the mixers and the chamber thing. We've run into you a couple different places, but I'm excited to have you come on and tell us your story.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A little bit about me. I'm from about 5 minutes away from where we're recording this podcast studio. Grew up in the area. I went to Mechanicsburg High School and all the schools actually.
Yeah.
And Cumberland Perryville Tech. Something interesting that a lot of people don't know about me is I actually have a degree in culinary arts. So I have that degree, but I own a construction business.
Okay.
Which,
yeah. I think a lot of people have degrees
that they don't use.
Yeah, right. And you're like, well, why are you doing this now? And you're like, this is a long story.
Well, I mean, it's nice because when a lady asks you, can you build things or cook? I can say yes to both, you know?
Yeah, you can check both boxes.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, so how did you transition from like young Chad looking, you're probably thinking, I'm going to cook. I'm going to be in the food industry. How'd you transition from that to what you're doing now?
Honestly, it was money. So my last job was actually at the brew house cooking. And I got offered a job working for Deblin, which is a bridge building company, which also is about 2 minutes down the road from here. And they offered me double what I was making in the restaurant. And it was like, yes, I found a new career path pretty much overnight. Also freed up my nights and weekends, which I had never done before because I had been working in
the restaurant industry
for a long time. So all those changes really led me down, a new path. When I was a kid, though, like in high school, I worked with my uncle doing renovation work. So, like, I was familiar with construction work. Anyways.
You weren't fumbling around. Like, you at least had some handy skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and my dad, he was a roofer. And ever since the age of 7, I was doing roofing with him. So, I was always familiar with construction work. So, leaving culinary, I still have a passion there, I think. If at some point I could open a restaurant or do a food truck or something like that, I think I probably would.
Yeah.
But there's so many food trucks now. I feel like that'd be really competitive.
Yeah.
But
now, when you made the transition from the food world to bridge building, did you kind of have to start at the bottom and work your way through, like, learning that side of it then?
Yeah, it wasn't hard, though. I mean, the guys that I worked with, taught you what you needed to know. And I actually got certified as a concrete tester, so I could test the concrete on the bridges, which a lot of people, again, don't know that concrete has to pass a test in order to be installed.
Yeah.
Because if you get a patio at your house, they're not doing that. They're just dumping it in and hoping
they're making
it
a column
up
in the ground. And
yeah. So it was really nice having that job. Obviously, it paid well, making double what I was making, having my free nights and weekends. But as winter time came, because I was low man on the totem pole, I got laid off. And I don't do well with not working. I can't sit around and not do anything.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine actually had a seal coating business, and he had gotten a contract with Verizon while Verizon was doing all their underground utility work for their new fiber. Anytime that they damaged someone's driveway or damaged a road, they would have to go in and pave little sections. So I started working with him doing that. That gave me something to do, in the meantime. While we were doing that, a guy that was doing the underground utility work was like, hey, why don't you guys get into underground utility work? And I was like, I don't know, can we do this? And my friend was like, oh yeah, we can absolutely do this. And luckily with the guidance of the other guy, Jake, he was like, here's all the stuff you need. This is what you need to do. And we went out and started underground utility work.
Okay,
So
nice.
I helped my friend build that business up for a few years, and then ended up taking a severance from him. Worked for a few other companies. Ultimately ended up, deciding that I wanted to go out on my own. And I started a general contracting business of my own. And that was probably 15 years ago now, doing home remodeling, general contracting.
Kind of whatever
Yeah.
someone needed. Yeah.
Yeah, if you need an outlet replaced, I did that one day. If you needed a sink replaced, I did that the next day.
Gotcha.
So kind of all over the place.
So you were doing like kind of handiwork all the way to, were you doing remodels and stuff as well?
Yeah.
So your project scope was probably all over the place depending on the project.
Yeah, and I found that it was really difficult to, get all that work done, be prepared, because you never know what you're going to do the next day.
Right. I could call tomorrow and have a job that is wildly different from what you just got off of doing, the last job on.
Yeah. So one of my employees was like, "Hey, have you ever seen epoxy coatings?" And I was like, "What's an epoxy coating?" Like at the time, I had never heard of it. And he was like, "Well, like a garage floor or basement floor, you can do it with like a flake or a metallic swirl." And I was like, "Never heard of it, never seen it. Like, we'll check it out." So I ended up starting an epoxy business. This was before anyone else was really doing it in the area. So there was a high demand. A lot of people were calling us, get their garage floors or basement floors done. Even did a few bar tops, did some commercial work for like food plants and stuff. And I ended up selling that business to another business. And everyone thinks, "Oh, well, that sounds like you're really successful then." And it was like, well, at the time it was kind of like a means to an end. Like I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So it was like, if I sell this, I don't have to do it anymore.
Right.
But part of that deal was I had to work for that company when I sold them the business.
You had to give them some time.
Yeah, and it was miserable because I didn't like working for other people, and I hated epoxy coatings. Like to this day, if I never have to do an epoxy coating again, I won't.
Don't call Chad
Yeah.
for epoxy coatings.
Oh man, and a great example, the reflecting pool down in DC where they're talking about peeling up, that happens.
Like
And
on a garage floor.
Oh yeah, that happens. And that's why I'm like, I'm so glad. Like this is now national news.
I see them on social media all the time, like an ad for them, whatever, and you see the fun, like, oh look, we're throwing. They got the spreader, and they show
nice.
it right when it's finished. But I'm sure after it's done, there's just a myriad of issues that can happen.
I think 1 in 5 jobs that I did would have a problem. Even if you did it the same every time, you'd have a problem. And
Well, there's just too much variability. Like if you have an oil stain or you have whatever in the concrete, I'm sure it causes multiple failure points.
and not something I'm ever interested in doing again. So glad not to be in it. I'm happy for the people that are doing it, are interested in it, are having success with it. That's great.
But it's not for you.
Yeah. So I worked for that company for about 9 months, decided that I didn't want to be there anymore. And I went back out on my own in 2019. And because of the epoxy company, I knew that I should do a niche, not the general contracting, a little bit of everything. So I decided that I'd do decks because I enjoyed building decks. It was kind of between decks and basements. Yeah, I enjoyed doing that too. But luckily I picked decks because when COVID hit,
Everyone wanted to be outside.
Yeah, everyone wanted to be outside. They didn't have money. They didn't spend money on vacations. They were investing in their homes. They didn't want people in their homes. So our work we could still do. We were outside. And honestly, that kind of trajected us to be more successful because we had that work and we kept working. So 2019, myself and I had 2 employees, started building decks. And from there, it's just taken off.
Nice.
So.
And it's nice too. You're outside. Most of the time it's nice being outside, but like I'm sure there's weather days where you're like, oh gosh, this is a miserable day. But either way, like you're outside, you're doing what you love, and you really don't have to be in people's homes. They're all different. I'm sure every construction project's different. I know that. But for the most part, like you found your groove.
Yeah. And it was kind of cool because you get to bring someone's outdoor space to life. There's 2 types of people. One that does it out of necessity, like, oh, my deck's falling apart, I need to replace it.
Right.
And then people that are like, man, I just can't wait to spend my time out there with my family, bring my friends over, grill out, do whatever. And it's nice to be able to like bring that to life for those people.
You're adding another living or family area to someone's home.
Yeah.
Like this sounds really corny, but like you're putting something on someone's home that they're going to create memories at. They're going to have a picnic or a barbecue, or it's going to create more moments for someone. And some people think, well, it's just a deck, but like that's what you're doing.
Yeah. And honestly, it's very fulfilling. And it's nice. I mean, now we have 6 crews working every day building decks.
Yeah.
We've grown substantially. We've expanded our territory. We're working from basically Duncannon down around the Chesapeake in Maryland.
Nice.
And we're just now a growth-oriented business, essentially. We did $3.5 million in just decks last year, which to me...
That's in what, year 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Good
So
growth trajectory.
if 5 years ago you would have told me that we would have done that in just building decks, I would have been like, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did. And, it was awesome.
Now, your main services, I'm guessing, is probably bigger than this. So if I'm minimizing it, don't be offended. But you're doing a lot of probably repair and replacement and new install of decks. So someone has a house or they're building a house, they want a new deck, they don't have one, and the other side of it is, I have a deck, like you said, it's 30 some years old and it's falling apart. I need either repaired or replaced. Is that most of kind of the calls you're getting?
Yeah, it's a combination of the two. This area, the way it's growing and the way that they're building homes without decks, it's amazing.
Yeah.
We call it the door to nowhere. Where
they put that like fence thing up.
Just a little piece of wood across, and you're like, I'd be mad if like that was my house.
Especially if you see the prices they're building these homes for. You're buying a more than $500,000 house in most circumstances, and there's a door to go out to a deck, but it just drops.
Just like nothing.
Yeah.
And then, there's a lot of developments in the area that are 30 plus years old that need that work. So,
and they were being built, those homes were being built before a lot of the materials that are coming out now.
Yeah.
With like AZEC and things like that, where they were using old pressure treated decks. You got to seal them all the time. Those are a lot of maintenance. I'm sure you see a lot of people that are in a home that's 25, 30 years old. They don't want to maintain it anymore, and they want something that's a lower maintenance option.
Yeah. That's a huge thing. The maintenance-free aspect of buying a composite deck, having vinyl railing. Every once in a while, we'll still get people that are like, oh, I want pressure-treated wood. It's like, here, I want you to do this. That's you painting every baluster of your railing every 2 years.
The rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. Are you sure you want to do that on your weekends? And a lot of times people are like, oh, no, I don't want to do that.
It's good when you're our age, but then
yeah, but it's just the time thing.
Right.
And I think a lot of people nowadays realize time's important. And if you're spending all of your time painting your deck every 2 years, then
yeah. Well, and there's also an aesthetic with those, like the pressure treated deck. It's fine. There's an application for it. Great. But when you're putting in a lot of these synthetic materials now, there's just an appeal to them, the way they look too. They just look nice.
Oh yeah, and there's hundreds of color options.
Yeah.
So, you can really, if there was a paint you could think of, you could basically get the same color in the decking.
Yeah.
Plus, they're scratch resistant, slip resistant. They have products that don't hold the heat.
That's what I was going to bring up next. I remember when it was first coming out, and it was just scorching hot. Yeah. So I'm sure that's getting better. Yeah.
It's getting better. It's still going to be hot if you're outside on a 100-degree day. The deck's still going to be hot.
Gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You walk across the asphalt, it's hot. They have that. But no, we do upgrades too. If you have an existing deck, you're just looking to have some railing redone or lighting added to it, or a pergola. We also do an underdeck system, which creates if you have a patio space under your deck, creates a waterproof ceiling.
Oh, nice.
So that way you can use that area too.
Yeah, makes two usable spaces then.
Yeah. So there's lots of options. And then, we work with other businesses too, hardscapers, concrete companies to, do other outdoor living spaces.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably have a whole contact list of other contractors where if I called you up and I wanted to create more than just the deck, but I wanted to create a whole, living space and aesthetic around the deck, just to spruce up my backyard or whatever. You don't have to worry about calling 10 other people. If they give you guys a shout, you have a list of people I want to get some hardscaping or some gardening put in around it. You know who to contact.
Yeah, we can do a full backyard. Even pool companies, we know pool companies in the area that we work with. And if you want a pool and a deck and a patio and the whole 9 yards, we can really spruce it up.
Nice. Now let's go into what you love about doing this. So you kind of talked about how, you like bringing that new space or revitalizing a space for somebody. But there's got to be something where like every morning when you're getting up, you're like, this is what drives me to keep running, to do all these, all these projects, or to keep it going so my crew can do all these projects.
Well,
other than like
money,
I was gonna say, other than pay,
other than money, why are you working?
Yeah,
so
I need to pay my bills.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love the fact that I've been able to build a company. I have great employees, and just finding the work to keep those guys working. Right now I have 25 employees. So I think about the families too that are affected by the business. There's 50 to 75 people that
a lot of mouths to feed.
There's a lot of people, and a lot of times that can be stressful, especially wintertime when we're slower, and it's like, man, I just want to keep my guys working. And I think, as time goes on, things kind of evolve, and it went from I enjoyed building the decks, at the end of the day saying we started with nothing, now we have this structure, to now that I'm not in the field building decks, it's been a while, building the company, where I'm building a company.
Finding opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
finding opportunities to expand, and keep your guys busy.
And that's, finding other entrepreneurs that I can talk to and be like, hey, how did you overcome this obstacle? How did you grow your business? Like I said before, at $3.5 million, there's not a lot of businesses that are doing that much business in general. It's a very low percentage in the United States. So finding the companies that have done more than that, and seeing how they've grown.
And not just even, you probably find value in that, not just even with the home service industry, but talking to unrelated industries to just be like, what was that next thing that pushed or whatever? Because a lot of people get stuck in that trap where it's like, well, that's not what we do, so I don't want to talk with them. But that's probably the better people to talk with, because you're getting outside of your bubble.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, every business has the same struggles at certain points, whether it's people, whether it's
cash flow, it's whatever.
There's always, business is business. It doesn't matter what business you're in. And I think one of the things about contractors was there's a time where contractors thought they always had to do it themselves. They couldn't talk to other people. And now I feel like with social media and just in general, like there's the ability to actually work with other companies, other people. Like I have friends in other states that do the same exact thing that I do. And we're not competitors. We're here to cheer each other on. And I see their work. I go, hey, it's looking great.
Well, I feel like that's definitely a generational thing. So we'll see marketing companies doing stuff. And is it competition? Of course, kind of, even in this area. But at the same time, there's a lot of businesses to serve, and there's a lot of homes to build decks for, and there's a lot of, you name it, for us to serve, especially in our area as it's growing. So like people have to, especially our generation, I think they're starting to realize like, yeah, you're my competition, but you're a good competition. So like, let's talk or let's engage versus, no, I'm never talking to you. I just want to beat you. Because that's like that. Listen, we have enough customers to serve in this area. Like, let's figure out what's working and make each other better.
And like for us, I mean, there's hundreds of homes being built every day without a deck.
Right.
It's a lot of,
and there's a lot of old homes with aging decks as well.
The only problem I have, like I had some guys that used to work for me decide to start their own business, and then they ended up stealing lots of money from people.
Yeah.
And it just makes us look bad.
Yeah.
It's like,
because they're associating like, oh, didn't you used to work over here?
Right.
And
and that's the problem I have.
Yeah. And they're like, it's not even probably quality of work. It's like they're not finishing jobs, and they're that's
starting jobs, taking payments, and then just ghosting the people. It's like, that's disheartening. And we've helped out a lot of people that were in that situation, but some people we just can't help because we still need to be paid also.
Right.
And a lot of times they can't pay for the same project twice. So that's really where like recognition of the fact that we've been in business so long, the companies that stand behind us, the accolades that we have, the reviews we have, like it's important that whenever someone's looking to hire anyone in any business, that they're not just going with the cheapest.
right.
Like that they're looking at, hey, this company exists and continues to exist. And despite the fact that they might be a little bit more expensive, I'm not going to have a problem once I start this
Right.
project.
There's a follow-up and there's a phone number you can call where someone's going to be answering.
Yeah.
Whether it's you or a rep that they're dealing with or whatever, like there's going to be someone there to help fix your problem. So you're building decks and you're taking care of the construction side of it, but I'm sure there's also like the service side where people have a call back or whatever. Like, so how do you handle, you've built my deck, a month later, something happens, a board pops or whatever. I'm sure you see a lot of that in the industry where there's the project's done. They did do it to completion, but then there's like no, like, oh, sorry, that's on you now. Like, do you try to have a little bit of a customer service side of it where it's like, oh, like if this happens, you can call me. We'll take care of it. We'll be out.
We have a 5-year labor warranty. Honestly, I've been in business 7 years. If someone called me and said they had a problem with something that we did 7 years ago, we're probably going to come fix it anyways.
Yeah.
You know, word of mouth is the biggest referral source for us. So
Right.
that's what we want.
Well,
we
and
want you to say, hey, these guys, I had a little problem. They did it 10 years ago and they still came out and fixed it.
It becomes more of the value of, you know, they're at they have their next cookout and their friends are coming over and then, oh yeah, you know, my railing, there was a split in my railing and they didn't even care. They just came out, they took care of it. You know, one day it was fixed. That goes a lot farther for word of mouth businesses. Not just that, but that customer is going to make sure they call you when they need another project later or their friend needs another project later.
Yeah.
So that's a hugely valuable thing that might have cost you, you know, an hour of labor and some materials, but the cost of not taking care of it and them kind of like, well, they won't even come out and look at it. That's more detrimental to your business than the couple bucks of materials it costs you.
Yeah, and that's what we're focused on, customer service. You know, I'd like to say we do a good job of making sure that we give that 5-star service so that we get those 5-star reviews.
Yeah, well, and it's probably tougher now. You probably have a little bit more of a flow with it too and some trust. But when you transition from yourself and 2 guys doing it, that was your crew. You had 3 people. To now you have 25 people doing it. I'm sure there was also that moment where you're like, I'm not on that job. I got to trust these guys. There's a little bit of anxiety that when you're starting to hand the keys over to other people and trusting them to take care of them the way you would, that's a huge, as a business, that's a big growth thing. You got to learn like, well, I hired them to do this job. I got to trust them to do that.
Yeah. That's a big thing, I think, with any business is the delegation and then allowing people to do their job, not micromanaging. I think I do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
You know, I let things go for probably too long before I'm like, hey, what's going on?
You got to step in.
Yeah.
I think we're all guilty of that sometimes. I think if you're a good manager of people, you have to let people stumble a little bit too. Cause if they're good at what they do and they care, they may fumble a little bit, but they're also going to learn from what happened and then do better the next time.
Yeah, and as a business owner, I've learned more from failing than I have from succeeding. So everybody's got to do the same thing.
Yeah, like, it is tough though when you start to hand the keys over, and even though it's hard sometimes to separate that and realize like, well, I made these mistakes. They're going to make these mistakes because you're now here, like you've made them and you've learned, and you see them making those mistakes. It can be at least internally frustrating when you're like, like I wouldn't have done it that way, but you do have to step back and go, okay, well, at least I can step in and kind of coach them, but they got to learn as well.
And my big thing is, as long as the end product is just as good as it's been, I don't care how we get there. Obviously, if it starts costing us more to get there, we're going to have a problem. But, you know, let's grow as a company. I don't want to, my goal is to not be involved in the company as much as possible.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're working towards, is where I don't have to be there every day or all day or ever, you know, ultimately.
You get back into cooking then.
Or I can come on a podcast somewhere, right? Like I'm not worried about my phone blowing up because there's problems.
There's someone to handle it.
Someone can handle that.
Yeah.
And it is difficult to give up all of the different things, and you're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. But it's important though, as you grow, to do that. Like, but there are also owners that want to be in the trenches and doing it. So, you know, it's just whatever your end goal is.
Yeah. I just don't want to be a roadblock for the growth of the business.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Now, you started in Central PA, and you did say you're branching out. You're going a little farther north, down in the Chesapeake area. Do you still find like the core of most of your work is still kind of like this, the 717 Central area?
I think just because we're better known here, the referrals are here. Obviously, more of our advertising is focused in this area still.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll get, in the summertime, in a month, we'll get 100 leads for decks, whereas in Maryland, we might get 5. So we're still working on growing in that area, but hopefully as we kind of give it a push, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of has to snowball in a new area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you, on our website, like we have a map of all the jobs we've completed, and like you can really see on that, like the centralized
Red
area,
hot.
Especially around Mechanicsburg here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's
I mean, it's where you
our
start
bread
with
and butter.
roots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, Cumberland County too is like growing tremendously.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's crazy to me is we grew up in the same area. What's crazy to me is the way that Carlisle and Mechanicsburg are starting to touch now.
Yeah, merge into
Like
each other.
it's kind of like how you can't tell when you're driving from Mechanicsburg to Sharmanstown and Camp Hill. It all just kind of if you're not from the area, you don't know that this is Sharmanstown over here. Like, oh, it's just Mechanicsburg or whatever. But we know that, well, this is Sharmanstown. Carlisle and Mechanicsburg are starting to do that. And then Carlisle is also even going farther west. So like, it's just crazy how areas that were just farm fields when we were kids are getting businesses, they're getting homes, and you're starting to lose the separation of these little towns that we grew up with.
Especially like the Arcona area, like
Oh, it's huge.
growing up, that was all apple orchards.
It was farm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
farms. And it's like, now you drive through, it's like just so many houses.
Yeah, over by like the Winding Hill Park and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. It's
Crazy.
it's only going to get crazier. So, and for a home-based service business, that's great for you guys, because as long as people are moving in, some of those homes are going to be getting decks added.
Oh, yeah.
Do you also work with new construction? So like when people are building a home, if they're building a home in the area or looking to build a new home in the area, are you teaming up with contractors that can put a deck on like at the time of new construction, so you don't get that board across your sliding door?
Yes and no. A lot of these contractors are bigger home builders.
Yeah.
Like they're just cookie cutter manufacturers.
They're going through
that
as fast as they can.
Yeah, they're not doing custom work, and we consider ourselves more of a custom deck builder, not the little 5x5
Yeah.
like area
To call it a deck.
Yeah. So some of the finer or higher end builders we've talked to, you know, about projects that they have. A lot of times they're just doing them in-house anyways.
Yeah.
But, you know, given the opportunity, if you're watching this and you want to give us a call, we'd love to team up for.
My marketing brain's clicking off now. Like if you were able to geofence a new neighborhood with ads, because you know they're moving in, just set like a 1-year ad campaign up or a 6-month ad campaign for a neighborhood that just popped up. You know they're moving in. You're going to target that area. Now you don't really need to rely on the contractors that are building those homes. You can just set it like a 6-month or 12-month campaign on like a new neighborhood that you drive past, and you can see all those homes with the boards.
Oh, yeah.
Like that would be.
No, we do that.
Yeah.
We do that. You know, if you're in there and you're scrolling through Facebook or something, you should see an ad about building a deck
Good.
in those areas for sure.
Good. And that's easy because you can just do like new mover campaigns with Facebook. I think that's still an audience that we can target with Facebook.
I mean,
You got a guy that's probably
it's smart. Yeah.
As a deck company, obviously it's a lot of seasonality. Are your shoulder seasons kind of like the Thanksgiving to Easter like time frame, or like when are you kind of noticing, as it's a challenge too, but those shoulder seasons come in and go out?
Yeah, I'd say that time frame that you said is exactly right. You know, and a lot of people say, well, what do you do in the winter? And we still do build decks. We've been fortunate enough that since I started, I haven't had to lay off the whole company because we weren't busy enough.
Yeah, it's not like a landscaping company where
Yeah.
if they're not plowing snow, they're not working.
And we plow snow too, just because why not?
Yeah, if you have the trucks.
And we know it's going to snow here. It's Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
we might as well take advantage of that too on a snow day.
Yeah.
If it snows the next day, our guys are out clearing the area and building the deck anyways.
So you can build in this area, like pretty much, you can build pretty much year round. I'm sure there's a few weeks where you're like, it's been 5 degrees as a high all week. We can't even dig for your footings.
I still have guys out.
You can do it?
Even when it's that cold, hot, they get it, They might slow down a bit.
Yeah,
but
I would.
Nobody's working fast when it's 5 degrees or 100
your hands
degrees.
are moving a little slower.
Yeah. So, but I've been blessed with people that understand that we work in all the weather, and as long as it's not actively raining, or actively snowing like hard.
Yeah,
it's flurrying, they'll still work.
But a day like today where it's drizzly, or you can just work.
Yeah.
I mean, and we do live in an area where like we'll get some big snowstorms, but we don't have a winter that's like, up north or out west where you see they got 80 inches of snow this year and they're snow packed. Like you can't be building a deck in that kind of climate. But most of the year, even in the winter, more often than not, you can still see the grass.
Yeah, this year was an exception to that. This was the first year in a long time that we had snow on the ground for like a whole month.
Yeah, I feel like
it was like, what's going on?
We could not see our yard for a whole a 30-day period,
which is unusual. Usually we get snow and a couple of days later it's gone.
Yeah.
This year it was very cold. For February, and then
I know my heating bill reflected that as well. But at least we're fortunate. Like you're fortunate enough that we're in an area where 11 months out of the year, for the most part, like you got clear ground, it's safe to work on. Your guys can get out there then.
Yeah.
Nice. So is it more, and I'm just trying to understand like the market of it, is it more that people just don't think about building a deck in January, March, February?
Yeah.
They start picking up the phone or calling you after it starts getting nice.
Yep.
They're like, oh, you know what? We should add a deck out here.
Everybody wants a deck in the spring for the summer.
Yeah.
And it's like, should have called us the winter, and then it'd be ready for this
and
summer.
Plan for it.
And that's where we increase our marketing in the fall to hit the winter.
Yeah.
To say, hey, call us now, so that way you're not calling us in the summer.
Right.
Everyone else is
Get
calling
booked now.
us in the summer.
We can have it all laid. I'm sure that because there's also probably a lead time. Like I can't call you today and be like, hey, Chad, can I get a deck? And then like next week my deck's done. Like I'm sure there's a lead time where you're coming out, making sure the home's good. You're designing it. You got to order materials. So like, what's the process with that and lead time if I were to call you and get set up for one?
Typically we say 1 month, but that's mostly because of permitting. So the township basically has about a month to get back to us and say, hey, you're good to go. Now, if you're in Maryland watching this, that could be a lot longer because everything's different down there. We've had permits that have been taking 2-3 months to get done. So, but typically, most of the areas around here, because we're individual townships or boroughs, it's typically quicker.
Yeah. I know when we built our home, it was, when you're building a home, you have a bunch of permits and stuff. It's like 3 or 4 weeks until they get back and stamp everything for you.
Yeah.
So that's usually, as you're saying, that's like your biggest waiting period where you got a permit. So, but the design side of it and ordering materials, that's pretty quick. You guys do that all in-house?
Yep. So since I have my own lumber yard, we can have materials there pretty quickly. We stock certain different materials.
Your common stuff, probably.
Yeah. So that's not usually an issue unless someone wants something completely custom that's a special order. And again, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to
Let's talk about that. So Dillsburg Building Supply, did that come after Shire Decks?
Yes.
And was that out of a necessity to kind of cut out the supply chain in the middle?
It was an opportunity.
Okay.
I don't think that, the ultimate goal was to cut out anyone. But, having the ability to get my materials in and then sell to other people, whether you decide to go with me to build your deck or someone else, I'm hoping that I still get a piece of that.
Yeah.
So if you go with John Smith over here and he's building your deck, hopefully he can come to me and I can sell him the materials for your deck, even if you don't pick me to build your deck. So,
yeah. Is it more, is it mostly other contractors coming, or can anyone?
It's open to the public. Yeah. I mean, it's basically a hardware store or big box store that you'd walk into. I'm not going to drop any names because we're not sponsored by any of those, they want to send a sponsorship, what's the address?
Yeah, info@leadlamps.com.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, anybody can come in. We're fully stocked with different tools, DeWalt, Milwaukee, all the different hand tools, different fasteners, any accessories for a tool.
Okay.
If you're doing your own project.
So weekend warriors can come in and do their deck, or
Yep.
contractors can come in and order from you.
Yep. Or anything. I mean, we do more than just decking materials.
Yeah.
Anything that you need building supply wise.
Nice.
We are fully stocked with like pressure treated lumber though. So that's going to be a bigger thing than any other product that we have.
Well, I mean, there's multiple use for that too. So very cool. And then that's obviously your main supply house too then for your other company, which is cool. Nice. I love seeing companies do that whether it's, like I said, not to cut out the middleman, but when you recognize that there's opportunity to bring something in-house to either capitalize on it and sell to other businesses, to make it easier for your other business to order things. It's very cool when companies do that and see that growth and like that light bulb go off, like, oh, we can bring this in-house. Like I've worked at various companies now that have brought in something that they recognize, like, we could do this on our own. And it's not to cut, they have good relationships with those other places as well that they used to buy from, but like, it's time for us to do this on our own.
Yeah. It really comes down to that bottom line.
Yeah.
Dollar for dollar.
We're an example of that. That's how we became Lead Lamp Media. We were a marketing group for the dental group and brought it all in-house, all the marketing. And now, it's not cheap having a large marketing team, but for the amount of stuff we do for the dental group, it just made more sense to have an in-house agency then, because you get way more opportunity to do pretty much anything. And if you were using an outside agency for what we do, it would cost probably fivefold.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great idea. Maybe I need to start my own marketing company.
Watch it. No, I think it's great too. And, it's just cool to watch it grow. So, and then the way you've bought and sold some businesses, moved around, I'm sure you have some other ideas. Yeah. So it'll be exciting to see what you do next. So while we have you on and we wrap up here, is there anything new you want to kind of announce? If there's you have anything getting ready for the fall? I know you were saying if people want decks in the spring, give you guys a call in the fall, like around Thanksgiving. But are there any other things you want to announce or just kind of shout out to people that are watching?
We did win Simply the Best again this year. This is 7 years in a row that we've won Simply the Best from Harrisburg Magazine. We've also won the Inc. 5000 top growing businesses in America. So we're on that list. Looking forward to seeing where we're at on that list when that comes out.
But hey, you're on the list.
Yeah. So a couple big things there. As far as the deck business goes, we're just going to continue growing and hopefully get some phone calls and keep with this weather that we've been having. If there's anyone that has damage. And
did you get a bunch of that? I know Kara was asking you before.
We've gotten a few. I think a lot of people are still recovering. There's still a lot of people without power, which is crazy.
Wild to me.
Yeah, it's Thursday. The storm was Saturday, and people without power, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything like that, once people are back up and running, and I said it's probably going to be a few weeks till, if you have that kind of damage, you probably have significant damage.
The last thing you're worried about is your deck.
Yeah.
You're thinking, it's the tree for my living room, or
the roof, or, but as these things evolve, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of calls for.
Oh yeah. Well, and they're waiting for insurance adjusters, and it'll trickle down though.
Yep.
So, you guys have your social media, you have your website. People can find you there. We'll put links in all the show descriptions so people can find you. But if you guys are interested in talking with Chad or anyone within his company, I'm sure when they pick up the phone, it's not just you now. Yeah, no. But if you want to get in touch with West Shire Decks, you can use any of the contact info in our show notes, or just get on your website and give you guys a shout. But I thank you for coming on and sharing your story and learn a little bit more about an industry I didn't know a ton about.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in becoming a guest on the Lead Lamp podcast, or you need some help with some digital marketing services, make sure you give us a shout.